Hello!
Hello! And we are now live. Yeah, let's get closer.
I can't even move. You're going to have to sit on your lap, babe.
That's all right. We're close like that. So, ladies, welcome to our live guest speaker today. So, my name's Kellie Gilbey and I'm from the Elysian Element. And this is Elysian Element. I'm excited.
What's your company name again, babe?
Elysian Element. I haven't even had a drink of this champagne yet.
It looks good, but we haven't had any yet, I promise.
So, and I'm with the amazing coach Carly, who is a Reiki master. She's not only a Reiki master, she is my Reiki master, and she's also an energy practitioner and a total fucking legend.
That's me!
So Carly's here to share her story, how she's got to do the work that she's doing now,
And drink champagne.
and talk shit.
Cheers.
Cheers.
The strawberry's getting in the way of my nose,
It's going to
though.
have to go in.
Yeah. Oh, good idea.
There we go.
Good idea.
Right.
It's full of good ideas. So.
So Carly, I'll let you get on and tell everyone a little bit about your journey and how you've got into doing the amazing work that you do now.
How much time have you got?
All day. I'm keeping you here. It was all a trap.
By the way, if you hear weird grunting, snorting noises, it's not either of us. It might be actually. But Squishy, my dog, is here, and bulldogs make the weirdest noises, as you might discover. So, my story. God, where do you want to start?
What was it that got you into energy work?
Oh, okay.
How did you know that you had something that made you go into this?
Well, I didn't really for a long time, but so I was describing this at Reiki 1 today because I was teaching a Reiki 1 workshop, and I kind of grew up in a really normal family, really normal loving family with nobody spiritual around me. But when I hit 15, shush, she's growling at us now. When I hit 15, apart from being probably tortured by hormones, I had this like what I now know to be this kind of spiritual longing. Like it was coming from my solar plexus area, which is all about confidence and self-esteem. And there was like this kind of, this sounds really weird, this gaping hole, right? Where I just had these really profound questions about the meaning of life. What's the meaning of life? Why are we here? What's it all about? And I remember sitting on my bed and trying to imagine what happens when we die. Not in a morbid way, but like what happens when this doesn't exist anymore? Because I felt like I was more than just my physical body.
Yeah.
And I literally remember sitting on my bed, closing my eyes and trying to imagine what happened when we died and thinking, does whatever else I am not exist anymore? And that didn't make any sense to me. So I thought, what's the opposite of that then? Is it never not existing? And my brain was going, like I was literally sending me mental. And so I don't remember having or trying to have these conversations with anybody around me. I don't remember growing up around anyone spiritual or anything like that. So when I was at like 16, 17, 18 at school, I got into studying psychology and philosophy. And psychology I loved, and I've carried on with that literally up until now. I still do it. And I felt like psychology with research gave answers, right? And I felt like philosophy appealed to, hey Cam, I felt like philosophy, Cam. I love that Cam watches all my stuff, I love you.
You're the best, Cam. I love you too.
This is Kelly, by the way. I felt like philosophy had all the kind of questions that I was already thinking, but I felt like you could write an essay, like a philosophical essay, about whatever hypothesis you had, and I felt like if you waffled on about this theory for like well enough and for long enough that you'd get an A star. And I'm like, but what's the fucking answer? I didn't feel like I got any answers. And no, exactly, no end game. So I carried on with these torturous questions in my mind, like what's it all about? And then when I was 21, I started clubbing when I was 17 in London, and I was flat out clubbing. And then when I was doing my degree and my master's in London, I carried on clubbing, and I met this group of people in London who I considered to be my soul family. Like it was the first time that I met a group of people, or even one person, where I felt like I'd known them forever. You know, like, you know, when you have those feelings.
Yeah,
I about you, actually. We know that. But it was like this whole crew of people. It felt like we spent this entire weekend together, and it felt like I remember so vividly, we were all sat around in a circle. It sounds very kumbaya, holding hands kind of bullshit, but we were all... Probably was. There may have been substance involved. And we were all sat around in a circle, like... and it was literally like we were going, tell me about this lifetime so far. Like we were catching each other up on this lifetime. Like we'd known each other for many lifetimes before. And I'd never had that kind of experience. And one of them gave me a book called The Celestine Prophecy. And that book stopped me from questioning things in the way that it did my head in, and instead made me realise that there's a bunch of books out there that are, I don't know, like they were a piece of the puzzle for me. I had all these questions, but I realised other people were like me and had these questions as well. And there were books that gave me, like, one book would give me an answer, but also like 20 more questions. So I just kind of kept going down that road.
Rabbit hole.
Yeah, exactly. Really rabbit hole. But it stopped me from questioning things in the way that it did my head in, and instead just made me really, really super curious about life.
It opens you up, doesn't it?
And it just got me right into personal development, and I loved it. It was amazing. And then a bunch of them already did Reiki 1, some of them did Reiki 2, one of them did a Reiki treatment on me, and it blew my mind. Like, it wasn't, if it was just this nice relaxing treatment, because I was studying psychology as well and knew all about the placebo effect. Like, for me, being a Gemini especially, I have to have these big fucking neon signs that go, this is the thing that you're supposed to be doing. And if I just had this nice relaxing treatment, I probably never would have had another treatment again. I definitely wouldn't have learned Reiki. But all these really crazy downloads happened for the person that did Reiki on me, that led me to realise that there were things going on in my physical body that were related to a past relationship that I hadn't quite resolved yet. And I'm like, how do you know all this stuff? This is mental. So she suggested that I go and learn Reiki 1 for self-healing. And I booked straight in for Reiki 1 and 2. And there was like a 3-month gap in between me booking it and me learning it. And then I literally just never stopped. I loved learning Reiki. I felt like, especially at Reiki 1, I felt all this energy come into my heart, and I was like, I know I've done this for many lifetimes before. And I just never stopped. And I never even considered running a business. I just did it because I wanted to learn it. And then I carried on doing it because I loved doing it. And then I just kept going through the levels because that seemed like the natural thing to do. And then I just flat out for a good year practiced on as many different bodies as I could get my hands on. That sounds really creepy, but it's not. You know what I mean?
Sounds like fun.
And, you know, we had a massive friendship crew in London, and they were all up for me practicing on them. Hey, Gail.
Oh yeah, hi Gail.
And so I did loads and loads and loads of practice in that first year. Like, I got my hands on so many different people. I was working full time. I was seeing like sometimes 3 people a night after work. And for me, that was the energy exchange, that I was getting practice on people and experiencing what different energies were like, and not becoming a Reiki master, but being mastered by Reiki.
Yeah.
And then through that, you know, I had friends of friends who were strangers to me, who wanted to come and do a Reiki session with me and asked how much I was charging. I was like, fuck, I don't know. I suppose a bit of
that is
price
the hard
on it.
bit,
Yeah,
especially when you love doing what you do.
Because
like,
I really wasn't planning on setting up a business out of it. But Squishy's trying to get into
my oven.
Whatever's in the oven over there.
There's been food in my oven, so obviously she sniffed it out.
And yeah, the business kind of grew from there. And then, you know, the people that I was doing regular Reiki on, kind of said, oh, can you teach me how to do this? So then I very informally were teaching people how to do Reiki on themselves. And then I had 4 mates wanting to learn at the same time. So then I thought, well, I'll teach you all together. And that's me teaching my first group. And then I just kind of never stopped, really. And now I'm 17 years in, and it's never stopped being fun.
And I have to say, I've experienced one of your healings. And I just remember, because I was going through a lot of hormonal stuff, and you did some crazy ass shit on me, and I just remember the heat on my belly. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it's
like,
crazy,
I was like,
isn't it?
oh my god, like, and And when you experience that as well, it was so nice to experience it from yourself, because obviously you've taught me, and I'm like, you always question, am I on the right track? And then when you feel someone do it to you, and after that dinner, I had so much relief from your healing at such a time when I needed it. And yeah, it's just been incredible. But you don't just do Reiki, do you? You do like all these amazing healings. And one of the things...
I'm also really funny. I literally had a dream
Sorry, I
once.
missed that off a total legend, fucking comedian. I'll remember that next time.
I literally had a dream once where I woke myself up laughing because of something really funny that I said that I have no idea. Like when I just know that I woke up laughing, and I literally went, I'm even funny in my dreams. And then I went, you're a dickhead.
Even Squishy says you're a dickhead.
Squishy, she knows I'm a dickhead. She spent the last 8 years with me.
Brilliant. So, and one of these amazing techniques you have is balancing out the assembly point, which you did to me, and you were telling me how you had to go to literally beyond to get it, because I was so out of whack, but I had no idea what it was.
I went back to the UK to get her. It was like so out of whack.
I'm back again, yeah. So, like, can you just explain to me? Because I don't think I've ever heard the word or the association with it apart from with yourself. And I know there's a lot of people out there. I spoke to other people who are in here and they've not heard of it. So, can you tell people a little bit about that, what it does, and the benefits it massively has on us?
Yeah, so...
I might open the door for Squishy.
Go for it, yeah. Kick her out. Kick her out. Outside now. So...
Oh, sorry, Squish.
So the assemblage point, I learned during an energy technique called Luxor Light, which I mainly learned in the UK and then in Egypt as well. And so the assemblage point is a scientific fact that everything that is energy oscillates around a central point, and ours is called our assemblage point. So for... Hey Samantha. So with the assemblage point, for men, it's directly out from the heart center, from the center of the chest. That's where it should sit in the energy field. And for us chicks, it's kind of slightly in between the heart and the thymus, so it's slightly above. I've been wondering recently, like with the non-binary, intersex, you know, I'm not exactly sure what the placement would be for it, but that's something for me to look into because I'm kind of interested by that. Anyway, that's where it should be, but most of the time it's out of alignment. The things that can knock it out are accidents, illness.
In another country.
Yours is in another country, probably with Liam.
Yeah, blame him.
So generally the things that knock it out are accidents, illness, injury, prolonged stress, shock, trauma. I've seen everything from having a car accident to relationship breakup to moving country, moving house, anything that creates a shock or a disturbance. And sometimes if it's like a prolonged stress, like a prolonged illness or a prolonged stressful period, it can like destabilize the assemblage point and then it can flick out. But it can also fracture into like splinters, right? So quite often, depending on where I find it, you get different symptoms depending on where it is, where it's located, and it's out for a certain period of time. Most of the time I find it kind of tracking above the crown, because that's the area of excess mental energy, right? And in this switched on 24/7 world that we live in, where everyone's under a lot of stress, that's usually where it goes. With things like chronic fatigue, depression, any kind of low level emotions or low vibrating emotions, it will be anything kind of below the hips would be really, really low physical and low mental energy. So for chronic fatigue, for example, it's not that uncommon for me to find it right past the feet, which is really, 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 really low. For the introverted psychotic spectrum, including things like Asperger's, autism, it's out to the left. The more so Asperger's would be kind of slightly out to the left, and then, you know, severe autism, like non-verbal autism, would be very, very far out to the left. Anger kind of sits out to the right. When it comes to anxiety, manic, panic, stress, it's kind of up. So in the area of excess mental energy, but then out. So it's like anxiety, manic, panic, stress. And then when it's out to the left, on the diagonal, it's more hallucinations, delusions, fantasies, apathy. But when it's not like a psychopathological, like schizophrenia or something like that, then it's more, I would regard it more as daydreaming or being really introverted. And then there can be lots of variations of that, right? So yeah, it's really, really interesting depending on where I'm finding it. And shifting it back into the correct location is really, really important. Like I've done work on not too many people with autism, but when I've worked on one particular guy, I think 3 times, and the first time, and he was not non-verbal, but quite severely autistic and very disturbed that I was there in person working on his sister and his mum and doing a space clearing. And when I worked on him, I got a message from his sister later on saying, "What have you done to my brother?" Like for the first time he sat down, he's had dinner with us and he's like not losing his shit kind of thing. It's really, really interesting. So
wow, it's a massive impact it has, having that. And like, unless you knew about it, you wouldn't even... Well, you wouldn't know about it, would you?
Yeah, and there's lots of people that do.
Idea.
There's lots of people that do energy work that don't know about this point. I know there is a point in kinesiology where it's. I think there's a similar point that they work on. I can't remember what it's called, but it is. I think it is the same thing. So you know, as you do wider reading about energy work, you'll realise that there's different terms for the same thing. So like, the brow chakra is also the third eye chakra. The base chakra is also the root chakra. Okay. So the assemblage point in kinesiology is called something else, but I think it's, you know, the same thing basically. But a lot of people who do energy work, and it's not taught in Reiki, a lot of people who do energy work haven't heard about the assemblage point. But for me, like, you can balance the chakras all you want, but if the assemblage point, if the whole central point of your energy field is out of alignment and has been for years, you can balance the chakras all you want and you're still spinning around the wrong direction. So I've found it out in people for like 37 plus years. There was a guy that I worked on who was a fireman. He was, at the time I worked on him, he was not kind of actively firefighting anymore. He's more, I can't remember he was more like a supervisor, like a chief. I can't remember what the role title is, but he was like a chief, something like that. And his had been out for, and it been way out for 37 years, 9 months, 2 weeks, 5 days, for example. I know I remember 37 years. And sometimes people know instantly what it was that threw it out.
I knew, didn't I? Do you remember when you traced it back to my mum? It was round about when my mum passed away that mine went out,
Sometimes people know instantly and other people need about 24 hours to figure it out.
We just had this conversation, like, oh yeah.
And he'd said, I know what that was. I went to cut a dead baby out of a car for a car accident on Indian Ocean Drive. And he'd never been the same since, you know. So when it's been out for such a long period of time, it's like it will ping back out again like a lucky band. It needs manipulating back in a few times. But I always say to my clients, you don't need another whole session, a whole energy treatment for me to bring it back in. I always say to people, drop me a message in a couple of weeks and say, can you check my thingy point? Because no one remembers ever what it's called. And I can just kind of remotely bring it back in so that it actually stays there. And it makes a massive difference to people's lives. There are whole centres that deal just with the assemblage point because it's so important to the energy field and how you feel.
And I'm just going to touch on something you said there. You can do it remotely because I did a remote healing yesterday and it's just incredible that we can reach people from the other side of the world because I was questioning whether or not I could do it. Like I was doing it with my partner and things had happened to him, but you know, because it was someone I was really close to and I talked to all the time. And then I did one yesterday and I did all the things you taught me. I opened up the gateways and I did all my little bits and pieces and I actually helped someone get better sleep and address something that is going on for her, which I had no idea. And like, you do this all the time. And I remember you telling me that you've dropped into people and then they've contacted you, haven't they? And said, are you working on me at the moment? And like, the power of that is just, isn't it? It's insane. It's like, next level. And it's incredible. Because I have done psychology, like my psych brain really kicked in at Reiki 2 where I learned Reiki 1 and 2 in the same weekend, and
at Reiki 1, I had no doubt. I could really, really feel the energy. I felt all this energy come into my heart. I could really, really feel it when I was working on people. And then I got to Reiki 2 and we learned about distant healing. And my Reiki master taught us the distant healing symbol. And she said, this symbol cuts through space and time. And to me, that sounded really sci-fi. And something in me just went, what if this is all complete bollocks? Like, I thought... I don't want to promote anything ever that's complete bollocks. And I thought, I'm not a gullible person. Like I really legitimately wanted to know, is this real or is it bullshit? Yeah. And I thought, and at the time at Reiki 2, you get taught that the ethics of Reiki are that you always have to ask people for their permission before you do a distant healing on them. Now, there are times where you can't ask people for their permission, like if they're in a coma or, hey Kim, if they're in a coma, you can't ask for their permission, or if they're like a baby or child that kind of can't give you their permission. But I thought, okay, so I never want to do anything morally wrong, but I really wanted to know 100%, does this shit work? And I thought, how do I know this shit really works if I have to ask people for their permission? Because then it could be placebo effect. So I thought, you know, there are a bunch of people in this crew in London who knew that I was going to learn Reiki and who had put their hand up and said, if you need a guinea pig, let me know. And so I knew if I asked them, they'd say yes. There are a bunch of people that I knew would say no, so I didn't bother going and practicing on them. And there are other people in my family that was like, not really sure. So I basically committed myself to a year-long study. I didn't put a time limit on it, but I thrashed it like a mofo for about a year because I reckon my dudes in the universe were going, what the fuck do you need? A big neon sign or something to prove that it works?
Well, yeah, you did, didn't you?
I basically did, yeah. And I practiced it relentlessly and I had some really cool experiences. So I remember practicing on a friend and didn't tell her that I was doing it. And then I got a message off her the next day saying, oh, did you send me a distant healing last night? Because I dreamt that you gave me a full treatment and I feel amazing today. And I'm like, yeah, that's weird. Yeah, I did. But I shrugged it off thinking, oh, she knows that I've been learning Reiki, so I can shrug that one off.
Yeah,
and
I've done that before,
and things like that kept happening. But then there was one day, this was the last time before I really understood that this stuff definitely works. I was sending my aunt a distant healing, and we're close, but not in the way that we talk much to each other at all. And I didn't even realise at that point she had my phone number kind of thing. And I was in the middle of sending her a distant healing, and she called me. And she called me in such a panic because she thought that I'd she said, you popped into my head so strongly that I thought something bad had happened to you.
Oh, no.
And I was really weirded out by that. And I said, well, I'm actually in the middle of sending you a distant healing. She said, I've got no clue what you're on about, but finish and then call me back. So I did.
And then
let
you do that.
Yeah. So I finished and then I called back and explained what had gone on. And then I kind of sat there and I thought, okay, well, I can't explain that one. You know, she had no clue. I hadn't spoken to her in a couple of years at that point. So that she didn't know I was learning Reiki. She didn't know I was sending her a distant healing at that point. And I thought, and that was the big neon sign from the universe saying, okay, hey Sharon, that was the biggest
one.
Yeah, that was the biggest neon sign from the universe going, are you going to fucking get it now? And I've done thousands and thousands of distant healings in the last 17 years. And this shit definitely works. Squish, come on. Can you see a cat? What's happening? Come inside.
Oh my goodness.
There's nothing to protect
this dog.
Yeah.
We'll do a squishy show at the end.
Yeah.
And another thing we spoke about, because we had a quick FaceTime last night, didn't we? Is the energy, releasing energy from all the injections that people have been having and helping clear out people's energy fields and just get all the toxins out of their body, which a lot of people, some of us agreed to, and it had such an impact on us. I know I was one myself. So what is it you're doing in that kind of area? What are you doing to help people if they feel they've been affected by the Pfizer or whatever injections you've had? You can help them clear that out, their energy.
Yeah, so I learned a COVID vaccine clearing. So I knew, and full disclosure, I've had 3 injections because I work in government and I decided to just shut the door, just lock her out. I made the decision to have it before I got told that I had to have it, because I knew that was coming. And I am like really rebellious, and when someone tells me that I have to do something, I like everything in me just wants to say fuck off. And I didn't want to lose my job at that point. Like, I still really wanted to work for the government, right? And I also was kind of weighing up, like, I live in Australia. You know, my family are in, at the time, they most of them were in the UK. Some were, I think I can't remember if my brother was in the States, but I've got family in Holland. You know, none of us knew how long this thing was going to be lasting for at the time. And I was like, which is the path of least resistance for me? That's really the question that I sat with for a while. What's the path of least resistance? For me to, with my family here, with Cam, for me to still be able to go out for dinner with him and the kids, for me to be able to do normal things like go anywhere, you know, for me to be able to get on a plane and go and see my family if I want to, or if I have to because someone's not good. You know,
it was a survival thing as well for a lot of people, like keeping our jobs. Like I've got a cleaning business and I have to go in people's homes, and you know, for me to keep operating, I had to have that, even to go into my commercial clients, and even when there was no people in the offices, we had to be covered. Like,
I mean, at the end of the day, I had my business as well. I could have left my government job and just done my business. But that's not what I wanted to do at that point. That's not the choice that I wanted to make. So I literally was sitting there going, which is the path of least resistance for me? For me, the path of least resistance was getting the vaccines. And I also sat with, okay, so if I really believe in all this healing stuff that I've been doing for 17 years, I know there's going to be a way of going with the path of least resistance, getting the vaccines, living normal life, being part of reality, and also finding a way of fixing the damage that it's doing to the physical and energetic body. And so I fasted. I'm a strong proponent of fasting for health, but also, like, there's a lot of research into fasting for 36 hours before you have things like chemotherapy to make it more effective. So I fasted for 36 hours before and after each of the 3 vaccines. I went into it with no fear, because I really think that fear is the thing that will bring on a lot of different bad immune responses. So I was determined to have zero fear about it. I was like, I've made my decision before anyone's told me to have it. So went in with no fear, called in my spirit guides and angels, called in Archangel Michael for protection, like got all the heavies around me.
Oh, I wish I'd done that.
That's
where I went wrong.
Had a fat chat with the nurses when I was there, you know, just like to take my mind off it. Like I wasn't in any bad space when I went for any of the 3 jabs. And then I kept fasting. I went for kinesiology straight away with all of them. And I always do daily self-healing. And then not long, I can't remember, it wasn't long after that, I found Christoph, who has who was gifted the COVID vaccine clearing and coronavirus healing. They're two separate things. So coronavirus healing for if you've actually got the virus, and COVID vaccine clearing for when you've had the jab. But even if you haven't had the jab, you can still be affected by shedding from other people. So sometimes you still need to get the COVID vaccine clearing done, because you might get affected by other people around you having the booster jabs or whatever it is. So
it's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, so I got the COVID vaccine clearing done on me, I don't know, 2 or 3 times. And then I actually learned the techniques so that I could do as part. So I did a psychic surgery course with Remote Healing Mastery run by Christoph Mechelzedek, and that included things like stress web removals, restructuring chakras, restructuring organs, stress web removal.
You did some work on me, didn't you? On my womb and my uterus, wasn't it?
Yeah, restructured the organs. And meridian flushing, and then I learned his COVID vaccine clearing course, and coronavirus healing as well. So I was learning all those in the last kind of year, and I through the work that I have been doing anyway since April 2018, I'd really noticed changes in people's energy fields that I've documented in a blog that I can share in the video links here, where I talk about what I noticed leading up to COVID lockdown, which I called it I saw everybody's energy fields and chakras went into lockdown, they shut down. And I was calling it lockdown. I didn't know what was going on, but I started seeing them open up about 8 months before lockdown. It was only 2 chakras that were opening up. They were always the spiritual chakras, so heart and above. And they weren't very open. It was like 2 out of 10 or 1 out of 10. But then COVID lockdown hit. And then I noticed people's chakras really starting to open up. And what was going on then? Like when you actually think about what was going on then, when people were locked in their houses, a lot of bad stuff happened. There was a massive increase in domestic violence, like a 40% increase. People weren't able to get drugs like they used to. People's alcohol intake increased. There were lots of bad things that happened, but energetically, I started to see people really open up. And what also happened was people were saying, do I want to be in this relationship anymore? Do I want to be in this job anymore?
People were getting aware, weren't they? Like,
yeah. Do I want to live in this country anymore or this house anymore? Like people, so I was starting to see people's alpha chakras open up, which is your connection to your life purpose. And also their omega chakras, which is your connection to your life path. So before the vaccine stuff started, I was actually starting to see a positive impact in people's energy fields, which was really, really interesting to me. So I didn't feel the fear that a lot of people felt around COVID. I was like, this is everything that I've seen in the last 2 years has been leading up to this. It was really interesting. And then when people started having the vaccines, people's energy fields just started like basically imploding. It cuts you off from your truth.
Yeah.
Hey, Mary.
I'm like, I've got to see these people.
It literally cuts you off from your truth, and people's chakras like have imploded, like turned inside out. It's mental what's been happening. So the COVID vaccine clearing has been really important for getting people back on track. Lots of people that I know have had vaccine injury. Not that people like to diagnose it like that, but yeah, I've had, touch wood, like I had a little bit of eczema flare up, which I used to have when I was younger. So I definitely had an immune system response, but other than that, I've had no drama with it whatsoever.
Oh, hello.
So, yeah.
Because I have now got an enlarged uterus. Like after I had surgery, my surgeon said to me, I really want to monitor you. He said, I've never seen nothing like it. And I've done all the timeline on it, and it was literally, all of a sudden, it was like I had a cricket ball in my stomach. You felt it, didn't you? And like, I roll over, and it's got even to the point now it feels a bit more like a mini rugby ball. So, yeah, it's crazy what these things have done to our bodies. And if anyone wants to reach out to you, we can put that in the link as well, can't we? If anyone wants like a clearing from these injections and everything, Carly is available to all. Like, you can just contact her. Everything will be in the links. And another thing you mentioned then was stress webs, which is massive.
Everybody's got them.
What is a stress web? Can you see mine? Mine are probably like...
Mate, they're everywhere. So there's this axis between your adrenal glands, your pituitary, and your hypothalamus in your brain, and this axis keeps you locked in a pattern of stress. Stop touching me up.
I thought it was squishing because I was stroking your leg.
I secretly liked it. She's like stroking my leg.
I thought it was the dog.
She's gonna start patting me on the head in a minute.
I'll feed you.
No, I'm a rebel, remember? If you tell me to sit, I'm going to stand.
You'll pee on my couch.
I will. It's a good idea, actually. I'll do it on the way out. So stress webs, yeah, everyone's got them basically, because everyone lives in a like lockdown pattern of stress, especially in the last few years. So that axis keeps you locked down in a pattern of stress. So when I'm doing a stress web removal, I'm basically doing a brain balance initially, and I'm setting the intention to calm down the communication between your adrenal glands, your pituitary, and your hypothalamus. And then you've got stress webs that can come out from your adrenal glands, but they can also wrap around various organs in your body. So recently I've been finding common, like probably in the last 8 months, common places where I'm finding stress webs are, apart from your adrenals, the heart, like the organ of your heart, not your heart chakra, which is where we store emotional pain, your lungs, which is where we store grief, and your throat, which is about not speaking your authentic truth. But also, all of those places have been really strongly affected by the COVID vaccine as well. So it may have a lot to do with that. So yeah, stress webs. The first time I did a proper stress web removal on a friend, we were working on reducing her alcohol use because she was using alcohol as...
I've read about this.
Yeah, this was a year, well, probably a couple of years ago now. No, it must have been about a year ago, August last year. And she wanted to break the habit of daily drinking as a coping mechanism. So we did a stress web removal, and I saw, you know, like Charlize Theron in The Huntsman?
I've not seen that.
She's got, I'll post a picture of it. She's got like this, like she's not a very nice person in this movie. And she's got like these, they almost look like tar, like plastic tar. It's like this really cool actually looking outfit that kind of goes like this and kind of feathers that go up like this. And I almost saw that on my client, and I also saw it kind of covering her face, so I could see her behind it trying to get out with all these stress webs in front of her, just keeping her locked in the pattern of stress.
I was going to ask you how you saw it, because that really intrigues me.
It was
like
really,
how it
really interesting.
Appears to you,
So stress webs are they're kind of a bit like spider webs, but for her, I saw them like they were real thick and like tar-like, and like she was just hiding behind them all. And so we removed those, and then I was getting all these messages from her for like weeks and months afterwards saying, what kind of fucking witchery have you done on me? You know, and she said I think it was Cam actually, had gone to pour her a glass of red wine, and she'd had a sip of it, and she was like, she spat it out going, what the fuck is that? And he said, it's the same wine that you always drink when you come around here.
Oh, wow.
And she had a sip of champagne, and it tasted like vinegar, and because she was kind of testing it out. She didn't feel like drinking any alcohol, but she was kind of testing it out, and it tasted just completely disgusting to her. And for like weeks and months, she just didn't want, that's my favourite crystal, citrine. Tangent. This just went on for ages, and like and then I thought that was the first kind of time that I'd worked on alcohol use like that. And then I've worked on a few people with the same thing, and stress webs have always come up, and they've always had amazing results from it. And then I think I've worked on someone with a sugar addiction as well. You can really use it to work on any kind of goal that you have. Stress would probably come up as a thing to be cleared. They generally come up.
Yeah, and another thing that we both do is the TFT, which you
EFT.
introduced to me, EFT and TFT. You can use that as well for the same thing, and then you could literally sit there with a bar of chocolate, you could smell it, you could taste it before you do these therapies, and then literally within like minutes when you've completed your session, it's like you don't even like it. It's crazy. Like the power of all this work. Yeah, and
it's crazy.
It's amazing. The benefits of it.
I taught someone EFT. It stands for Emotional Freedom Technique, and it's tapping mainly around the face and around the body, and you tap on acupressure points, and it kind of, part of it is a distraction technique, part of it is like a break state for negative emotional states. And I was working with someone who was addicted to meth, and one time I saw her, and she said, Carly, I was massively craving using. There was so much shit going on in my life. It was really, really bad. And it was really like all she wanted to do was use. And she had her phone, she had her dealer's name and number in there, and she was just on the verge of calling them. And she said, instead, I lay on the floor in my wardrobe, and I just tapped all day long, like you taught me, just tapped all day long. And I cried, and I tapped, and I cried, and I tapped, and I cried, and she was like ugly crying, like this ugly crying mess on her floor, just tapping. And she said, I tapped for hours and I didn't use, and in the past I just would have called my dealer and used. And that was amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? Like, so powerful. Like, I use it on myself, like if mainly like near my fridge, to be fair. I'm like this, don't go in the You know, thought I use it for my highest good, and yeah, it's an incredible therapy. I had that with you, didn't I? And then it inspired me so much because the impact it had on me. I actually went and did a qualification as well. So thank you. That's another thing I got.
No worries. If anyone wants, I've got 2 main tapping playlists. Or it's not just tapping. Hey Yvonne, it's not just tapping. We're just saying hi to everyone.
I miss people. Hi Yvonne.
I got 2 main playlists. One's called Project Self-Worth, and one is called Money and Abundance, and most of what's in there is EFT tapping. There's a bunch of other stuff as well, like meditations and subliminal audios and stuff like that. But if you want either of those, just drop an emoji in this video. If you want the Money and Abundance playlist, drop a money emoji. If you want the self-love playlist, drop a love heart emoji, and I'll drop you a message and we'll get those over to you.
Yeah, I've done the self-worth one. Yeah.
And the Money and Abundance one.
No, I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, oh well, she did my money manifesting course,
oh
and
my
it's
God.
in there.
I've done your money manifesting course.
And how much have you manifested?
Over 9 grand. So yeah,
so
that's another one to tap into.
So if you're interested in more information, hey Carolina, I love Carolina. She made one of my favorite crystal necklaces. That road light one that you've seen.
I've got one. I need a necklace making for, so Carolina, I'll be in touch.
So if you want details about the Money Manifesting and Clearing Abundance workshop, then just put Money Manifesting in the comments and I will get in touch with you, because manifesting is real. 9 grand, that's amazing.
God. I know. And it came in, I kept questioning it, didn't I? I was like, well, it's come in, but this and this and this. She's like, Kelly, just take it. Like, tick it off, it's come in. Yeah. So yeah, that's been amazing. And now we're going to talk about
more shit. We go, hi Liam.
Liam's messaging me. Right, so we're going to talk about one of our favourite things at the moment. So both Carly and I have had
you're not drinking much champagne. I just feel like it's me getting pissed here on my own.
I've got more than you.
You have. Pisshead. She's a right pisshead.
Oh, I'm a secret one, not this.
She's just doing it off to the side.
Yeah, but I forgot they can see me up on your camera but not on mine.
Busted.
But yeah, so and the next thing we're going to talk about is, this is like probably our favourite thing at the moment, because both Carly and I...
Well, your favourite thing's Liam.
Yeah.
My favourite thing's Cam.
So relationships.
Yeah.
And the fact that we've both been through, well, we've been to hell and back, literally, probably about 1 million times.
Fucking shit relationships. That's what we've been in.
Toxic, narcissistic, really... Hi, Farley! Yay, I got one! Hi, Farley! So yeah,
we love you.
Yeah. Oh my God, Farley's live last weekend was amazing. So if you haven't caught that, go back through my page and catch that, because it's insane.
Yeah, and Farley, I still need to interview you too, babe.
Yeah, get on to
That's
it.
Coming.
No escaping now. So yeah, both Carly and I, we've been in really toxic, narcissistic, really heartbreaking situations in relationships in the past, and we've both, dug so deep within ourselves, and we're both so blessed to be in the most amazing, Farley's like, yes. We're both in the most amazing, loving relationships with Squishy. So we're both going to talk a little bit about that. And so, Carly, do you want to go? Or do you want me?
Wow, look at the bulldog.
This is my true love. This is Liam, everybody, if you haven't met him before.
Okay, you can go back down now.
She's massive. So yeah, it took a long time for us to find our people, but we did so much work, didn't we, on ourselves? And
I was 38 when I found my person.
Oh my God, I was 42.
She's an old bitch.
I think we're the same age, aren't we?
Are we?
How old are you?
How old am I? 42.
I'm 43.
She's an old bitch.
I'll take that. I'll thank my Botox though, so I think I only look really 30.
Hey, you're 21.
Thanks. Yeah, so it took a long time for us to get where we are, and to be completely open and accepting of, not just loving ourselves, but letting people love us. And the conversations we've had about the difference being with I don't know, an emotionally stable man, like a real masculine man
who doesn't need rescuing.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god.
And doesn't need our money. Doesn't need a sugar woman.
Yeah. It's like, for me, it's been life changing, and for me, there was a really pivotal point which I shared with you yesterday. You know, when I met Cam's, that's yours, Cam's your man.
He's mine,
when I met Liam's ex, it was just such a lovely moment, and there was no drama, and you know, and I was really sure and confident in myself because I'd learnt to love myself. You know, and when you do that, you're confident with what you bring to the table and who you are and how you show up in your relationship. You know, and you can be open to being friends with these people, you know, and you can hold space for them to be where they are because, you know, Liam's ex is the mother of his children, you know, so to me that's really important. But years ago I was in these toxic relationships where the exes would come in and try and push me out my own relationship because they're the mother of the children, and I used to let them. I used to just let people walk all over me. I was taken for thousands and thousands of dollars in relationships, and yeah, it's been hell, like, and the level of narcissism, learning what a narcissist was and how to deal with it and how to get away from it. It's been so empowering, and now you just don't have it, do you? You just don't tolerate it. But when you are at that level and you meet somebody who is none of those things, like how empowering and life-changing it is, like, and how and it impacts how you can show up as well, doesn't it, when they give you the space to completely be you.
And this is what we were talking about when we were on the phone last night, you know, I achieved so much in my life despite being in relationships where, hey Duncan was my first ever boyfriend.
Hi Duncan. You lucky man.
So I was in, even being in relationships that were holding me back, not including you, Duncan. We were way too young back then.
But Duncan didn't know any better.
But no, the amount of really amazing stuff that I achieved in my life, the amount of really amazing goals that I achieved, like moving to Australia, getting my residency, building my business, you know, like having the career that I loved. That's for Duncan. You know, like I achieved all of that stuff despite being in relationships that were quite abusive, that made me a shell of my former self a lot of the time. You know, like work became my respite. I was my true authentic self outside of my relationship, in my job, in my business, in lots of different ways with my friends. And then, you know, I'd drive home. I'd just be kind of getting that sinking feeling, like, what am I walking into? What mood is he going to be in? You know, how am I going to pay the bills this week? Like the last serious relationship I was in, I came out 53 grand in debt. That's why I created the Money Manifesting and Clearing Debt course, because I learned so much from that relationship.
That's mad, isn't it?
And I don't blame him for that, because users will use people. That's just what they do. I let myself be used and abused because I had shit boundaries, because I didn't love myself enough. And so I had some massive lessons from that, which was like I spent years on Project Self-Worth, which I created for myself, and now I share with a lot of other people. Because if you 100% loved and honoured and respected yourself, would you be in the relationship that you're in right now? Would you be
At least about smiling.
You know, if you're 100% loved, honoured, trusted, respected yourself, would you be in the job, relationship, country, house, anything, any like friendships that you're in right now? And that's like, we can bullshit ourselves all we want. You know, people will say that they're confused, they're feeling confused about their relationship, they're feeling confused about their job. Really, you're not. If you ask yourself that question,
a bit of denial.
Yeah, really you're not. If you ask yourself that question, you don't actually even need to answer the question. You know, like your gut feeling knows, right? And so yeah, I kind of kept myself in those relationships for a really long time until I loved myself enough to leave them. And I achieved so much despite them. And then, you know, when I met Cam, like, we have been together for 3.5, 4 years, and it took me a long time to really, really let his love in. I had to do a lot of coaching on myself to let his kind of love in, because I didn't believe it.
It's triggering.
I didn't.
How triggering
it definitely
are
triggered me.
relationships?
Yeah, like I didn't believe that he could be real.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really good mates with his ex-wife and the mother of his kids and his ex-girlfriend. We were all really good mates. And like, legitimately, authentically good mates.
But how good is that you're all at a level of that self-security, self-worth, self-knowledge, and that, you know,
but
you're
it
a
also,
contribution to each other.
It also shows the character, how good their character is.
Oh, yeah.
All of them, you know? And so, like, the things that I've been able to achieve with Cam by my side, have, you know, like, I know my energy and my life has up-leveled. Hey, Reginald. My energy in my life has up-leveled to a massive degree, and this is only the start. Like, we're both so excited about our future because of what we can achieve together. Because neither of us, there's no element of holding each other back.
Yeah.
Like, we really fucking love each other. And there is zero doubt about that. And I don't ever drive home from work and think, fuck, what am I walking into?
I was with a premium grade narc. Jesus Christ.
It wasn't you, Carly. Thanks, Dunk.
We like Duncan.
We like Duncan. Duncan used to make me laugh a lot when we were kids. We grew up together as kids. Like, he is a very, very funny guy.
I'm glad you got away from the narc.
Actually, funny story. So when I took Cam home, to meet my family last year, Dunk must have seen that we were coming home, and we were walking through Tunbridge Wells.
Yeah.
And I heard this. Well, Cam heard this. Cam, how you going, mate? And there's Duncan walking across the road. Cam's never met Duncan ever, right? And Duncan is fully pretending that he knows Cam. And there's me going, fuck, this is hilarious. And Cam's walking towards him going, mate, you're going to have to remind me. I really don't know. Like, I'm just losing my shit going, this is hilarious.
Brilliant.
So that was a very good trick.
But again, that shows characters, good characters of people around, definitely.
Yeah, very, very funny.
Brilliant. I love that.
Yeah, so
That's
I'm
good.
so excited about the rest of my life with Cam. Like, I put a ring on it. I proposed to him because I'm like, I'm not letting this one get away, you know.
Oh my God, I love that.
I proposed to him, was it last February, I think it was? Last year.
I love that.
And yeah, not letting him get away. He is amazing.
I've got goosebumps.
So,
Cam in the skirt. That's how I know him.
Cam in the skirt.
I thought you were Scottish Cam, just saying, because I've seen you in more kilts pictures.
Yeah,
than
he
in
wears a
normal
skirt
clothes.
more than I do. He looks fucking great in it as well. Don't couldn't resist it. I know you did really well there. It's still got a really great sense of humour. No, so like, I'm like, the rest of my life, the rest of our lives together. Like, I've never been with a partner that I've always been really, really goal focused and motivated, but always done that shit on my own.
Because you've had to, though.
And
to a degree,
because no one gave a shit that I was with, you know. And now, like, when I met Cam, he knew that I was Dutch Indonesian, part Dutch Indonesian. So he started sending me messages in Dutch, and I'm like, shit, I've actually never learned how to write or read Dutch, so now I need to learn how to do that. So then we got in Duolingo. We were learning Dutch together. At the time that we met, I was learning how to trade and chart crypto, and he was getting me to explain it to him. Then he signed up for the crypto course that I was learning, so we did that together. You know, there's all these things that we want to do together. We have our individual goals, we've got our mutual goals. He's helped me to be better in the gym. He's helped me to, like, with the chronic pain issues that I get in my neck.
I'm also going to benefit from that when I come train with you. Thanks, Cam.
Totally, yeah. He's helped me to be less scared, like less fearful around my neck and the kind of issues that I've had with it.
Yeah.
And become way stronger in the gym. So 100 kilo deadlift last week. Yeah.
And I just want to acknowledge Carly, because you were the only one in our November challenge who said, I'm going to go in the gym, I'm going to do this, and she nailed it mid-November, so hats off.
Yeah, my goal was 100 kilo deadlift by the end of the year, and it was like the week after I said that, I actually did it.
You did it. Well
so
done.
maybe it'll be 110 by the end of the year, who knows?
Yeah, you're going for a prize at the moment, just saying. Contribution
What prize?
Candle or Oracle reading.
Ooh.
So there you go.
Sounds cool. I might not piss on your doorstep when I leave it.
Depends what present I get. You sure you're not a dog?
Right, so why do people call each other dog? Why is it a bad word? I don't understand.
No, I don't understand that.
Dogs are
either.
amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway.
But I'm excited to see where you and Cam go. Like, it's so incredible. And I'm in a similar space with Liam. Obviously, our relationship is a lot newer than yours. But, you know...
No, well, it still spans many lifetimes.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
I think Cam and I have had something like 380 lifetimes together, something like that.
I need to look into this with Liam because... Those who don't know my story, I'm from a town called Catcha. I went out and I literally walked into this bar and I seen this guy and we were both looked at each other and just went, oh, hey. And it was like we'd known each other forever. And anybody who knows me knows I'm a live wire. I'm like, woo, like this. And the minute I met him, I was the most calmest, just...
He calmed her nervous system.
Like that. And it was but for both of us. And he can be a bit shy and he was like, God, I really like you. I can just talk to you and this, that, the other. And then... on the evening I told him, I was just like, oh no, don't want any attachments, can go back to Australia. But then I'd added him on Facebook, we started talking, we stayed in touch, and this guy, right, he's not really travelled that much. He's now got on a plane, flew out to meet me in Canada. He came to Cuba, we went to Cuba together, and now he's coming out to Australia in December. Like,
we're going to meet Liam,
yeah,
100%.
Yeah, so... And the difference, like, with Liam, he gives me the space to be myself, and the one thing he loves about me is all my quirks, just completely being myself. And even my family were like, oh my God, you can be yourself around him.
I think that's definitely the key. It's like when you can be 100% authentically you. Like, I've literally said to Cam at some points, God, what is actually going to put you off me?
I try with Liam and he just goes, oh God, he goes, that's just you, isn't it?
I can be my complete fucking idiot self. I'm so clumsy. Like, I can be such a spaz sometimes. Can you even say that word anymore? I probably can't. It's
yeah, no, but we will.
Probably can't. Oh, I've said it. There you go. It's indelibly marked on Facebook. But like, literally nothing seems to put him off me. He just and literally, I always say to him, so are you sure you still want to marry me? And he says, yeah. I'm like, why? He said, well, I don't know, but I'm keen to find out. I love that answer. It's
Brilliant.
So good.
Oh my God. And I tell you what, it's really funny because we were talking as well about self-love versus self-care, weren't we? And
yes, big difference.
I got so obsessed with self-care. I did this on my workshop. I said about this on my workshop the other day. And I thought that a bath was going to save everything, was going to change all my world, save my problems. And I got so in my head
it would
about
just make you really like a wrinkly
yeah. And I was booking into hotels because I had to have this bath, and because I haven't got one here, I've got the tiniest little house. And loving myself was being my true authentic self, showing up as myself and keeping my word to myself. And last year I had a relationship coach who was meant to come on and do a talk about dating in the Christmas period, right? Because I find it can be harder for people in the Christmas period. It certainly was for me. And I used to get
Question, did your relationship coach have a good relationship?
I don't know. She's never got back to me really since. So there we go.
Wow. Okay.
We won't judge.
Here we go. No, we will judge. Here we go, kids. If you want to like get good at anything, any topic whatsoever.
Yeah.
Make sure the person that you're learning shit with
is walking the walk.
Yeah. Like, if you're gonna become rich through property, make sure that person has become rich through property. If you want to get out of debt, make sure that person's got out of debt. Like financial advisors, half the time they're not that rich.
Yeah.
If you're having a relationship coach, make sure they're in a good, loving relationship.
Well, this is quite funny because, anyway, she didn't make an appearance. So I was like, do you know what? I'm going to do it myself. So I carried on and did this talk myself. And then over Christmas, I stuck to everything I'd advised. I stuck to everything I'd said in this video. It's on this page. You can scroll back to next Christmas, till last. Are we good? Yeah. So I literally stuck to everything I said, and we can plug your phone in if you want.
We're having low battery problems.
Low battery issues. So yeah,
Have we got the same phone?
Yeah, I think so. iPhone?
Yeah.
Yeah. Use my hands.
We'll just. Oh no! Oh no! Wait!
Turn me off.
Well, that's your face. She's forgotten her password.
I've only had one glass of wine.
There you go. Okay,
Yeah,
plug my phone.
I've only had one. Look.
Plug my phone in.
So-
She needs 5 to make it work.
So I'm going to let you plug that in. Because
All right.
It's more stable than me, I think.
Am I? I don't know.
On your feet, anyway. I don't know about mentally. But yeah, I stuck to everything I said, and I kept my word to myself. And then lo and behold, I literally walked into this relationship with Liam, which has been life-changing for me. And yeah. So,
Hopefully, Liam, it's been life-changing for you too, babe.
Oh, I know it has. I've seen this for myself.
Ooh la la.
See, that's what I mean. I know my worth, and I know my confidence, and and I know what I've brought to the table.
What was
in this
the biggest
relationship.
thing that helped you to actually get to your self-worth?
To my self-worth?
Apart from the baths in hotels.
It was the bath bombs.
The bath bombs.
For me, just like I said, just starting keeping my word to myself. Stop comparing myself to other people, because I was trying to measure how I loved myself and measure all my life on what other people were doing. And when I stopped doing that and just focused on me, literally, and showing up authentically and just, doing the work, getting rid of my past, not getting rid of it, but dealing with it, facing with it.
Accepting it.
Yeah, and
learning the
myself.
lessons. Yeah.
And doing like we said, mirror work and stuff like that. Being able to look at myself, accept myself, and be able to stand up and speak my truth. Like I've had lots of things go on recently, and it's been very triggering going back into another business that I used to be in. And I'm just doing it. I'm doing it because it's what I want to do, and I'm doing it my way, and and it's made all the difference. Like already, it's had an impact on people around me. So, I think just showing up as my true, authentic self, and I had
just going back to the mirror work bit.
Yeah.
Like if you can look, if you can or can't look in the mirror, squish. If you can look in the mirror at yourself, or just try this exercise today, right? Look in the mirror and say into your eyes, I love you, and see what comes up.
I really, really love you.
And really see what comes up, because a lot of people can't do that.
Yeah.
Like so much shit comes up for them where they realise actually how much they don't love themselves.
And when I was doing a course, and one of my ladies, I was like, you're awesome. And she couldn't even hear me tell her that she was awesome. And she is. Like, honestly, she's one of the most inspiring people I've ever met. And
Apart from me, obviously.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Forgot about you for a minute. Thought you was a dog.
How very dare you?
Thought you was a dog, not a person. I'm talking about
Right,
people.
no, I'm definitely pissing on your front door on the way out.
I knew this was going to be like this.
This is why we did it.
Yeah.
So basically, we're probably going to do one of these every Friday night. Hang on, what day is it? Sunday. Every Sunday night is Friday somewhere in the world.
Yeah.
Maybe. Not a Saturday.
Saturday. Maths. Carly is not a recognised mathematician.
No. Okay, so on that, I'm learning a criminal profiling course at the moment, and it includes statistics. Fucking again. I did 3 years of a psychology degree where I had to do statistics. That was the only one unit I failed, and I had to repeat it. And then I did a master's in forensic psychology, and I had to redo all the stats that I had just done in the 3-year degree. And I was like, fuck, I was no better at it the next time round. I'm 20 years past that. You really are too funny.
You are too. She'll get a big head. It won't be able to fit in the screen.
And fuck off. And now I'm doing stats again, and it's only unit 2 of 4 modules, or 4 units. But the next lesson tomorrow is about serial killers, so it's about to get more interesting than statistics. But I've literally been like, oh my god, statistics are doing my brain in.
It's crazy, isn't it?
I'm meant to work with people, not fucking numbers. Oh.
I'm the same. But I was going to say another point with my self-worth was something happened to me, and I went to see my doctor, and she told me what I went through was actually abuse. But I was so caught up in thinking that everything was my fault, I was a bad person, and all these things. I thought that I deserved all these things that happened to me. So once as well, I'd seek the help I need, and I'd switch my mindset, and I was like, holy fuck. you know, and that was a big thing for my self-worth. I didn't deserve it. I'll never put up with it again. And, you know, and I've healed so much from that process.
Yeah.
You know, and now, like, I'm with Liam, I don't have to worry about any of that, like, not in a million years, but yeah.
I think the abuse thing, like, there's a lot of people, if you look up, actually, I'll post a link to it, the Duluth Power and Control Wheel, right? And there are a lot of things that constitute abuse that are so much more than just physical violence.
Yeah.
You know, there's economic abuse, there's withholding money from people, there's financially abusing people, there's using children against you.
Just
there's
words as well,
yeah,
isn't
just
it?
yeah, verbal, emotional, put downs. You know, like I remember, like, my ex never gave me one compliment in 8 years. Like, I fished for a compliment one day when I came out. My stepson, I like dressed nice for a place that we were going to, and my stepson was like, "You look so nice, Carly," and I like fished for a compliment so hard from my now ex-partner, and just got fucking nothing. You know, like,
it's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
I bet Cam just loves you, whatever you wear.
I could be wearing a bin liner and he could tell me
That's
I look
what
sexy.
I say, bin liner and a pair of flippers.
I come out
yeah.
and I just look like a few was wondering what the probability of this getting back on track was using Bayesian theory. That's a statistical fucking method that I've been learning today. Thanks, babe. I love you. So
I was wondering when he was going to pipe up again.
He's so funny. I was wondering if he was still on, because he's still on. He watches everything. I love you. So yeah, I literally I'll come out and I'll look like a fucking wreck. And Cam's like, "God, you're so beautiful." And I'm like, "What? He's like, what? Look at the state of me." Yeah, he's amazing. And he's also really sexy.
I've seen this on your posts. I've only ever seen him in a skirt.
It doesn't matter. He's sexy in a skirt. He's sexy, especially.
I'll take your word for it on that.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got my Liam.
I know.
I love Cam too.
Oh, Duncan loves Cam too.
This is like Cam Club. Oh my god, hilarious. But yeah, I just think it's so great that now, you know, we've both achieved that self-love after so much shit.
But you know what? Like, it's taken a lot of fucking work and a lot of commitment. Like, I'm talking years. I started personal development when I was at least 21. And it's taken years and years and years. Love you too. Pal.
He's talking to me.
Oh.
And he's talking to Duncan.
Oh, that's cute.
That is cute. I feel a bit left out, Cam. I'm going to say, to be honest, right?
He loves you too.
It's okay. He just didn't write it.
Oh. I'm sure he's going to in a minute. He's just typing it up right now.
It's Kelly with an IE.
No, it's like taken a lot of fucking work, right? And like Project Self-Worth, I started, look at them bromancing each other.
Oh my god.
It's going to be funny because, like, anyone that watches the YouTube videos are not going to have a
YouTube, of course, ladies.
Anyone who watches the YouTube videos are not going to have a fucking clue what's going on. But so yeah, it's taken a lot of work, and didn't want to interrupt, of course. Like, when I was back with my last abusive ex, I started Project Self-Worth then, and it took a good couple of years of me doing that relentlessly for myself. I started it just for me. I think I had a couple of girlfriends who were kind of experiencing similar things around the same time as well, and so we were kind of all doing it together, but I never had the intention of sharing it with anyone, and I share it like a mofo with everybody now, because everyone needs it, right?
Yeah.
And it took a good couple of years of me doing that relentlessly for me to even have the, I don't know, courage is the wrong word. Like, I remember my ex speaking to me like a piece of shit, like he normally did for the last 8 years, and me actually turning around and I can't even remember what I said, but it was not aggressive. It wasn't passive aggressive. It was really assertive, and it let him know, I don't want you to speak to me like that anymore. And I was so shocked at what came out of my mouth. Like,
I remember you telling me.
It just came out so naturally that I literally like.
It's not squishy. It might feel squishy, but it's not squishy.
I was trying to scratch my own leg. I had an itch, and I remember turning around and going, who said that? Like literally thinking, where did that come from? Like thinking that didn't come out of my mouth.
Yeah.
And that's when I realised that Project Self-Worth was working.
It's always like your higher self coming through, isn't it? Like
I realised that all the work that I've been putting in for ages was actually starting to work. And I started to say no instead of saying yes when I wanted to say no. I stopped doing things out of obligation. I started to really see my worth and put my foot down. And in the end, I was just like, fuck this. Why am I here? And I just ended my engagement. And I was like, you can leave my house now. You can stop having me pay for every single thing in your life, and you can just fuck off.
And how empowering is that? And that you get to lead that way for other women as well. Like, yeah.
And because I did that, I met my amazing Cam. But you know what? Before that, I wouldn't have been, if I hadn't done all that work, I wouldn't have been ready for someone as amazing as him.
Yeah, and I think with me and Liam, we'd both been like single a year before we met each other, so we'd done all our healing and got past, you know, overcome like anything that had come up in the last relationship, just let it all go, and then we was just ready for each other. Well, the universe put us together, do you know what I mean? There was no doubt about that. Funny story, someone tried to set me up with Liam like 5 years previous.
What?
Yeah, and I said, no, I don't like old bald men. And now
we're now both with bald men.
I am absolutely obsessed with Liam. Like, I can't even tell you. Poor man. He's never getting away either.
I like the bald look. I always fancied The Rock and Vin Diesel, and now Cam's way better than either of them.
Yeah. Bald men.
Coach Carly, I keep watching reruns of Noel's House Party and I'm stuck in 1992. What should I do? What the fuck are you talking about? I don't know what Noel's House Party is.
Noel's House Party? What was that? That was a TV programme,
was
wasn't
it?
Noel's House
I don't know. As long as you're not watching reruns of Jim Will Fix It. Dunk, I don't know. Let's take this offline. I don't know what you're talking about, mate.
Yeah, this is going to go really viral.
It's going to go pear-shaped, I think it's going to go.
Oh, dear. Oh, my goodness.
Does anyone have any questions? I feel like we've had a really cool conversation. How long have we been talking for?
So much stuff.
I don't even know how long we've been talking for.
Maybe an
Does
hour and
it
a
say
half.
anywhere?
I think roughly an hour and a half.
I had a feeling we'd be like rabbiting on for about at least 3 hours.
Yeah.
I mean,
we do need more wine.
You need a refill of champagne. I feel like I need some Japanese, not a person, like food. I wrote to that shit. What?
Oh, Jim will fix it.
Oh, Jim will fix it. Oh God. Did Jim will fix it, or did he do something bad to you? Actually, don't answer that. Let's take that offline too. Oh,
edit. Yeah. You've got an editor, I haven't. This is going live.
No one can edit the live bit.
No one, huh?
Well, you can't edit the live bit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
What are you on about?
For the YouTube. At least it can get edited for YouTube. Oh dear.
Well,
I think that's about it.
I think that is about it.
Yeah, we need to finish off the champagne and eat some Japanese. I
wanted to milk a cow blindfolded.
Oh my God, can I milk cows? To get my visa. It's overrated, yeah. But I'll tell you what.
Why do you want to do it blindfolded though? That sounds like a kink.
That's weird. That's like sounding like you really want a kick in the face.
It sounds like a kink though.
Yeah. Imagine getting...
Which I know Duncan well enough to know it probably is a kink.
You wouldn't know which direction the poo's coming from.
Duncan used to drive you have to remind me, was it a Skoda or a Lada? I think it was a Skoda. And he used to put the complete works of Shakespeare on the, what do you call it?
The parcel shelf.
Not mantelpiece, you know, the Uji what's it, on top of the, on top of the boot. Yeah.
Parcel shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To make him look really intelligent. Sorry to out you there, Duncan. Did you ever read it? If you did, you probably wouldn't want to milk a cow blindfolded.
But no, I'll tell you what though, if you can milk a cow for 8 hours a day...
It was a shit old song.
Oh, there you go. Duncan, if you can milk a cow for 8 hours a day and get covered in shit, you can do anything. I'm proof.
Holla! I planted trees for my visa.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really nice.
I planted 700 in one day once, and then someone said, oh, they're never going to last because the rabbit-proof fences aren't up. And I'm like, fuck, I thought I was saving the planet. That really pissed me off. But here we are. We've both got a visa. Are you a permanent resident?
Permanent resident, yeah. I need to get my
when are you going to get
citizenship
can
soon.
you get that?
Soon. I've just been waiting to see what days I'm in and out of the country, because we're only allowed in and out of the country, aren't we? A certain amount of time.
Oh.
So with my long distance relationship, I have to, to watch this. So
Nice move, Dunk. What with this shitty old Saab? Cam loves a good shit old car, don't you, babe? I don't know if you were talking... Cam, are you talking about milking cows blindfolded or the shit old Saab? I'm kind of not... I'm confused. I feel like Saab is absolutely a literary major's car.
Oh my god.
Oh, I feel like you guys need to have a bromance. When we go back to the UK, we're going to have to go and take Dunk out for a bit. I reckon you guys are going to get on when he doesn't pretend to know you already.
That's brilliant.
So, I think that's probably it,
Yeah,
isn't
I
it?
think so, yeah. We're going to have some more champagne, some
Yes.
Japanese, and some squish love. So,
Yeah. For anyone that doesn't know what we're talking about, that's my dog. I love that car. I had three. What, all at the same
oh
time?
my gosh.
No, he didn't have them all at the same time. You weren't that rich.
You should have milked more cows. It's good money. Yeah, it's good money. Yeah.
Even if they shit on you.
Yeah. Well, you get paid a bit more, I
This
think.
conversation's going really soft.
Cows.
Okay, the turbos are nice. Right, I think...
All right, thanks, guys.
I think it's disintegrating into car talk.
Yeah.
We can leave now.
Thank you, everyone, for
We
listening.
love you.
And
so, okay, so
Carly's
hang on.
links
Wait.
will be in the
Which
comments
links am I
below.
putting? Okay, so drop an emoji if you want drop a
Self-worth.
comment, money manifesting, if you want to know more information about the money manifesting clearing debt course. If you want the Project Self-Worth playlist, put a love heart emoji. That was a wonky one. Oh, look, love hearts are coming up.
How does that happen?
And then if you do thumbs up, then fireworks go off sometimes, or you get like a little thumbs up emoji. This is a new thing. You're not getting on yours. You need an upgrade. And then if you want the money manifesting playlist, then put a money emoji in the comments. And what else was I going to do?
I don't know.
We'll have to rewatch our own
Yeah.
video. There was another link I was
But
going to
we're hoping to bring something as well, maybe next year together. We were
Oh,
gonna be in
definitely.
talks
Yeah,
about
we're going to
that,
put a workshop together. So put a comment if you would like to see us run any particular workshop, because we can pretty much do it all.
Yeah, we can do anything.
We can do anything. So let us know.
It will involve champagne and strawberries, but no cows, Duncan. Sorry.
We're not going to be milking any cows. Squishy might be there for anyone that likes dogs.
Yeah, but we would love your feedback, what you'd like to see, and we can put something together. So, yeah.
Tell us what you want to see more of.
Yeah. Squishy, probably.
It's not going to be our boobs, that's for sure.
You have to pay for that. That won't be free content.
Hang on, I don't have an OnlyFans. I don't know if you do, but I definitely don't.
We'll get one for Squishy.
Only Cam gets to see my boobs. Squishy has how many
cams?
Only Cams. How many boobs do dogs have?
I don't know.
Tell us in the comments below. We might do an OnlyFans for Squishy. Oh, that's bestiality, isn't it? Okay, let's end this now.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.